Gentlemen and ladies, I want to make a quick update video talking about my updated build. Now, this build is Saul Enhance's build. Twitch.tv/Saul Enhance. He's the current rank 1 shaman, or sorry, rank 1 enhancement shaman. I'm the rank 1 shaman. It's confirmed by Tickle. Literally have video evidence of Tickle confirming I'm the rank 1 shaman.
Staff, is Big Dick Tuna the rank 1 shaman? Big Dick Tuna is the rank 1 shaman, that's right.
But this is his build, and honestly, I've been having a ton of fun on it, and has proved a bit more viable. So I want to make a video just showcasing what that build is, and yeah, follow me on twitch.tv/BigDickTuna, for I will be doing future streams, and possibly even a stream today if I can make out some time. So boys, let's get right into the video. So this was my old build, alright? This is pretty familiar for all you folks, alright? This is my old build, alright? The key kind of factors of this build that is different from Saul Enhance's build is static accumulation, alright? The reason why I like static accumulation is because, you know, it makes Ascendance more valuable, alright? While Ascendance is active, generate 2 Maelstrom weapons stacks every 1 second. The reason why I love this is just because it helps accelerate the rate in which your Witch Doctor's Wolf Bones or your Feral Spirits comes off cooldowns with Witch Doctor's Ancestry, and of course helps you get off more faster Legacies of Frost Witches, which of course reset the cooldown of your Storm Strikes and make you do 25% increased physical damage. Very, very good, which is why I really like this. Other than that, everything is pretty much, you know, the exact same. And over here on the Shaman tree, I am taking Capacitor Totem with Guardian's Cudgel and running Healing Totem with Swirling Currents. All right, pretty standard build. This is what I used to run. Now let's go over to Saul Enhance's build, or which I like to call it Reroll Ret. So you can already see there's some things that are different here. All right, dropping static accumulation for something like Storm Blast and Elemental Weapons, and of course with Inferior Totem. You know, it's just for my teammate. It doesn't really help me all that much. Just for my teammate, usually Arms Warrior or Ret Paladin. But taking elemental weapons, increased all fire, frost, and nature damage, just basically having more consistent damage, works well with the 2 set, which I wouldn't know because I don't have 2 set. I don't even have 1 set yet. So having a grand old time this past, you know, Dragonflight couple of weeks. All right, amazing. So no static accumulation definitely does suck. I love Ascendance. It procs a lot. And to see me not have as much value in it just because I don't have that Maelstrom generation stinks, but I think having consistent damage, which is what Enhancement Shaman shines in the most, is pretty damn nice. That's actually changed one of my honor talents here. Now you look over into the Shaman tree, you see a couple things are a bit different. Not running Capacitator Totem, running Hex, it's obvious because it's Hex, you know. It's the worst CC in the game, but it is still CC, and better than nothing. And I'm also running Totemic Projection, Call the Elements, and of course Thunderstorm and Lightning Lasso. Let's focus on the 2 key elements here, which is Totemic Projection and Totemic Recall. Now note, this build doesn't, you know, instantly shoot Enhancement Shaman to, hey, bloody, like, amazing, wow, why would I ever play Warrior or Ret Paladin? No, it just makes it, just gives it a little bit more, you know, a little bit more value in terms of what it can do. So the 2 main factors are Totemic Projection and Totemic Recall. Why are these so important? Well, it's mostly revolves around your static field totem. So let's talk about Totemic Projection first. 10-second cooldown, relocates all your active totems to the specified location, has a 40-yard range. Now, the reason why this pairs so well with something like static field totem is, let's say I can use it offensively and defensively. All right, let's say my healer is like right here. Hello guy, let's actually use a reshape. Cool, I'm hot. Now I'll get all the views on Twitch. Amazing. So let's say my healer's right here. Okay, let's say there's, you know, the DPS is like right here. Let's put this turnip punching bag right here. Let's say my their DPS are right here or so. All right, if let's say a Holy Paladin is going in for a rep, a blind, a hodge, whatever, I can port this healer off of my boy, and I can port him to their DPS, and boom, that's just an instant scoop of 3 of their entire team, which makes for an easy stack of you're playing with an Arms Warrior most likely, easy 3 stack Spear Bastion, or playing with Ret Paladin. That's just easy Radiant Decree, big AoE cleave. It's pretty damn amazing. Same thing with Divine Toll. All right, it works really damn well. Let's also use our other option, Totem Recall. It gives us the ability to reset one of our totems under 3 minutes, which, you know, there's no totem in the game that, you know, has a 3-minute cooldown, which I think is probably Manatide has a 3-minute cooldown. I'm not too sure, but basically any totem can be reset with Totemic Recall as Enhancement Shaman. So I can reset the cooldown of my static field totem instantly, which is definitely amazing. So you can use this offensively or defensively. All right, just like how I said, you can port everybody on top of each other with static field totem, which makes it super viable for offensive capabilities, but also makes it great for defensive capabilities. Again, your healer's getting focused or getting trained by a DK or Windwalker DK or whatever. All right, or the other option, the other alternate reality that's not very alternate, it's our reality, which is I'm the kill target. I can set the field totem on top of myself, port them off me, give me a bit of breathing room, and you know what, I'll be fine in a little bit. And of course, static field totem doesn't, it has very minimal HP, just like every other totem, so it can be killed instantly. But just the ability to just port people off of me, basically like an instant Shadow Rift for warlocks, is pretty damn amazing. Now, this does work through walls. So if you're in something like Ravenbrook Hold and you static field totem at, like, let's say the door, or you static field totem just in the middle of your starting areas, you walk out and you put totemic projection on the other side of that starting room wall, it'll port them through the wall. So that's, so if you want to know how it works, all right? If you're wondering, it works like that. It's not a bug, that's just how it works. So you can suck it, but it is very potent when that happens. All right, I've had a lot of people whisper me, telling me I'm a piece of shit, but hey, it's just how the game works, all right? Sucks to suck, my guy. Now, other uses for totem recall is, of course, resetting your grounding totem and your tremor totem, resetting grounding for, just grounding, just normal damage, normal mind games, normal chaos bolts, normal glacial spikes, all right, ice lances. Grounding totem is just overall one of the greatest abilities that you have as a shaman. So resetting that cooldown, even though it's a 30-second cooldown, which I don't necessarily like resetting my grounding totem, but in desperate situations where if I need to, it's mostly for like healer CC, because healer CC is always just like super low, so that's usually what I reset grounding for, especially for like clones and everything. DRs run out, so having that grounding totem, my second grounding totem, just instantly can help stall the game so I can get my damage going, get my healing going, etc. Same thing with Tremor Totem. Tremor Totem 1 minute cooldown, use Totem Recall, get 2 Tremor Totems, spam Fears, Psychic Scream, that's 30-second cooldown. Alright, having a second Tremor Totem in the chamber can be very good, very potent, very nice. Now, I will say there are some obviously defining issues with something like Totemic Projection and Static Field Totem, which is the main kind of focus of the build, because it's just a port. It's great defensively or offensively. There are some issues with it that are just standard game issues. It's not like specifically targeting Static Field Totem, It's more of game issues. Like, let's say if I Static Field Totem let's say I scoop up a Asa Rogue Shadow Priest, boom, they're kind of scooped up here, and I port them on top of me, so my warrior and my, and myself can just cleave these fools down. If they're rooted by any chance, by, let's say, my warrior's Warbringer, or if I'm playing with Resto Druid, they're, just a random mass entanglement for some reason, if they're rooted, or if their mobility is going to be hindered in a way, like Ursal's Vortex or something like that, my Static Field Totem port will not work. They'll stay there in their current position. It won't work. But that's how anything works. That's how a lot of ports like Static Field Totem work. So if you bring a piece into targets who are rooted, it's not going to work. Pretty obvious reasons. Unless it's like a full instant teleportation like Shadow Rift, then they'll just teleport to that demonic circle and still be rooted. But it doesn't work like that, so it works a little bit differently. So just something to note. And what does stink is that you see Totemic Projection has a 40-yard range and Static Field Totem has a 30-yard range. You would naturally assume that, okay, since Static Field Totem has a 30-yard range, if I am to Static Field Totem, calculate 30 yards, it'll work. It'll still port them to this location. It won't. I'm pretty sure the max distance that your port will actually work with Static Field Totem is about 20 yards. So it's a pretty short distance, but I mean, it is fair because, I mean, if I could literally, port, let's say this DHDK, port them literally all the way over there, that would be really troll. Like, that wouldn't even be fair. It probably would be fair, but it's just kind of cheesy. Like, that's literally half the length of arena map. So, good part on Blizzard, I guess. But yeah, 20 yards is definitely a very short range. They made it 25 yards. I don't know. But yeah, so just something to note. that if you do have roots on your target, your port will not work, and your port is a 20-yard distance. So make sure you measure, make sure your port is just long enough to relieve pressure or to just, you know, get everybody round up in your static field totem. Just you know, just for a bit of a safety precautions. And then of course you have something like Thunderstorm, Lightning Lasso. Thunderstorm, pretty simple. It's just a knockback, slows them by 40% for 5 seconds. You can use it while stunned, all right? Doesn't really matter against melee because almost every melee can literally close that distance in half a global. So, but it is still a knockback, and you can use it in a stun. Pretty damn nice. All right, even though something like Unleashed Shield is just way better than Thunderstorm can ever be. You know what? You'll take it. Lightning Lasso, 4 to 5 second cooldown, does decent damage, but the main reason why I use it is because it's a stun. It's just way better than Capacitator Totem, even with Guardian's Cudgel, which I do like. Cap Totem with Guardian's Cudgel. Lightning Lasso, just Lightning Lasso behind a pillar, or it does force you to cast. So 9 times out of 10, you are going to eat a kick for your healer, so that means your healer can hard cast, which means it doesn't really have to be on the move, and healing can be a little bit steady for however long their interrupt duration or interrupt cooldown is. You know, it is pretty nice. So just another way to, you know, help my team out. But yeah, overall this build just offers a bit more. Again, it's not like super different, like it's not like, oh wow, like this entire talent tree is completely different from what you normally see. No, it's just these 2 talents make it a bit more different how you can set up your goad and set up, you know, be a little bit more defensive wise. Who the fuck's this guy? Hey, get out of here. This is my fort. All right, so obviously this isn't, like I said, doesn't make you just shoot up to, you know, Ret Paladin or, you know, Feral Druid levels. No, it just offers a bit more, you know, it offers a bit more utility, because, you know, as Enhancement Shaman, it's like why play Enhance when you can play Ret Paladin or an Arms Warrior, right? Like you don't have great utility in the sense of like you don't have stuff that can really change the game, right? You don't have like Intervene, you don't have you know, short cooldown 30-second like 20-30 yard stun Stormbolt. You don't have Banner, you don't have Duel, you don't have Commanding Shout, you don't have a Fear, all right, an AoE Fear at that. You don't have Blessing of Sanctuary, you don't have Sack, you don't have Bop, you don't have Lay on Hands, all right, you don't have Double Freedom, all right, you don't have clones, you know, spam roots, all right, you know, pretty strong consistent off heals, all right. Like, no, it's very linear to what Enhancement Shaman can do. You either do damage or you do healing, and your healing, you just die through it either way. Your healing, whether on you or your teammates, are just going to get shredded through no matter what, no matter how high your heal is, no matter how high the number is, whether it's 112k or 61k, like that healing is going to be shredded in quite literally an instant. And of course my mana is going to go down, so when my mana goes down, that makes me a viable kill target, more so than I already am. So just having something like Static Field Totem, you know, port, is something that just it's just really good. You know, right? It offers a bit more survivability defensively, offensively, makes you change the way you can set up, you know, your damage. Pretty damn nice. So I just wanted to showcase you guys that. Hopefully you guys can test it out, play around with it, and see, you know, and see what you like about it. But boys, video's over. I was planning to make a video talking about the struggles of Enhancement Shaman, just talking about issues that Enhancement Shaman has faced and has been facing for the past how many years. So if that does interest you, like the video, and of course comment something that will push that video even more, because I do like seeing the like number go up, because I like seeing, I like my ego being infatuated very heavily. Inflated. So I will make a video on that, just talking about the issues of Enhancement Shaman, possible solutions, and possible reworks that Enhancement Shaman could use. That could be fun, but also can be, something that they need. But boys, video's over. Hopefully you all had an amazing time this day. I mean, it is 9:48 a.m., so it's the start of a day, but of course when you see this, it's going to be 3 p.m., so, or wherever you live. If you're not on the West Coast, then what are you doing with your life, man? You got to be on the West Coast. But video's over. Hopefully you all see a beautiful sunset today, and I'll see you guys in the next life. Peace.